Good day and welcome to the channel. In this short video, we are going to explain why and demonstrate how to change your Wi-Fi card that's built into your laptop or all-in-one, or for that matter, even a lot of PCs these days, from whatever it came with to a nice Wi-Fi 7 card.
So the procedure is exactly the same for a Wi-Fi 6 or 6E.
Why would you want to do that? Well, there's a whole lot of reasons. The first is just because you're getting 5 bars on your Wi-Fi doesn't mean you're getting full throughput. So in my case, my computer came with a Wi-Fi 6 card. And while Wi-Fi 6 is great, I really want to get to Wi-Fi 6E. And the reason for that is I'm paying Comcast, I'm in Canada, so I'm actually using Rogers, but it's Comcast system for a 1 gig connection, 1000 megabit download. And I'm only getting about 800, and I know I can get better with a simple $25, $30 upgrade and a nice one-time charge, not something going on and on all the time. Now, my Comcast Rogers access point is 6E, it's not 7. So why would I put a 7 in? So I don't have to do this upgrade again in the near future. And the cost difference between a 6E and a 7 card is virtually non-existent. So just get the better card. The other advantage to upgrading your Wi-Fi card is that it usually includes Bluetooth. So you'll probably get a nice upgrade in your Bluetooth from, say, Bluetooth 5.1 or 5.2, probably up to Bluetooth 5.4. Now, I don't really care about that, but it is a nice bonus. And before we get into the demonstration of how to actually change out this little M.2 card, let's go over some of the nomenclature, some of the naming conventions that'll be confusing as heck to you. We spent 2.5 hours producing this, explaining what the differences are between the connectors. Because, yeah, there's differences, and you better get them right. That being said, it's not something to be afraid of. You can do this. You can make this change yourself. You don't need to take it into a shop. It's not rocket science. So the first thing is, what is MHF? Because that is what these connectors, where you attach your antennas, are called. Micro high frequency. And the standard was created by a group called I-PEX. And the only reason I point that out is because you'll get some confusion over IPEX versus MHF. If it says it's an IPEX 4, it's an MHF 4. But pretty much everything for the last, more or less, decade is going to be MH4. That's the last one on the table there, and it's super common. The next thing is, what is the connector on your card? Well, this is an M.2 connector. And again, there's some confusion because you'll see this is an NG-FF connector. That's just next generation form factor, M2. Two additional things to note before we actually get to the swap out is that my computer is an AMD computer. Now, I'm used to running with Intel hardware, but I have a Ryzen 7 in this particular machine, and I originally purchased a Wi-Fi card that was an Intel BE200. And the BE200 is a cheapie. And why is it a cheapie? That's because it offloads a lot of the processing from the Wi-Fi card to the CPU. Well, guess what can't do that? An AMD CPU. So if you try to put a BE200 chipped Wi-Fi card into your AMD computer, it won't work, as I found out the hard way. I didn't realize it was proprietary. So now I've gone and purchased this little Qualcomm-based, well, the brand is Zyni, Z-Y-Y-I-N-I, but the brand's kind of irrelevant. You're really just paying for the chip. QCNC M865 based Wi-Fi card. And it'll work in anything. And the last thing that we need to talk about before we actually get to changing these out is the antennas. Will your old antennas that are built in work with your new Wi-Fi card? Probably. However, as we explain in this table, there are differences and you need to get the right one. In addition, these little antennas are only intended to be swapped out 3 to 5 times. That's the number of times they can be connected and disconnected. So they do wear out. Well, the connectors wear out, the antennas don't. Another thing is newer antennas, like these little guys that cost me a big, I think it was $10 Canadian, so, that's $7 US, are actually tri-mode. So in addition to them just being new and having a nice new connector on them, the actual antenna itself is better. And it is designed to work at 6 gigahertz, whereas the factory antennas were only intended to work at 5. Is that a big deal? Probably not the end of the earth, but if you can easily change your antennas for a few dollars, you should do it, and I'm going to do it. Now, just a little note, For a lot of years, when I was a junior, I used to think that this wire was actually the antenna, right? Because it goes and it bends, it gets in different angles. It's not the case. That is the antenna, that little sticky pad. This is simply a piece of coax with an MH4 connector on the end. Okay, so let's get to swapping this out. Obviously, you have to disassemble your computer. I've already done that in my case, and we'll show you that in just a second. But one of the things you want to do is, under very bright light, like this guy, you're best to connect your antennas before you put it in your computer. So how do you connect them? Well, typically start at the top and just push it over until they sort of feel like they're seating. And then just use your thumbnail to pop it on. You should feel a gentle little click. Do not push too hard because you can flatten the connector and then you need new antennas again. Hopefully you heard that little click. Remember that there's like a microscopic needle in there that has to go in the center of this connector. So you do not want to apply too much pressure. Just like that. Now lots of people will tell you to tape these down. You can, or even put a bit of glue on them. You can. If you're using a laptop,
That gets bounced around a lot.
might be a better idea, but they're not likely to come off. Well, that's your M.2 Wi-Fi card. So I just take a Phillips screwdriver. Phillips is the star, by the way. Pop the screw out. Pull your card out. That's a resaleable card, by the way, because if somebody's got an older Wi-Fi 5, maybe they want the Wi-Fi 6. Now I'm going to replace my antennas, so I'm going to pull these out right now. Okay, I've got the old antennas gone. I didn't really need to remove them, but they're not doing us any good. So a 30-degree angle, pop it down, screw it in. By the way, you can see we have specialized tools. We're not using them. You don't need it for this particular job. Get your antennas set up. Now, a little pro tip with this is to put the antennas perpendicular. The other antenna was horizontal. This one I'm going to put vertical. Doesn't have to be perfect. And you want to make sure that cable isn't going to get pinched anywhere. Now we just reassemble.
So now we've powered up the computer and all is well, right? Well, not quite. We need to get drivers. So how do you do that? Right click on the start button and select Device Manager. And for most people with most Wi-Fi cards, it will automatically install as a plug-and-play device. However, this Qualcomm card is a real pain in the butt. The M865 is obnoxious. There's a couple of things to know. Off camera, I actually booted this machine up to make sure it was going to be okay, or not, and I wanted to know what to say. Under other devices, it wasn't there. So I shut the machine down, booted into the BIOS, played around with a number of network settings like boot from network and so on and so forth, and then changed it all back exactly the way it was, made no changes at all, powered up, and boom, there it is. So if you don't see it, go into the BIOS, play around with some network settings, and just power it back up. The next thing is getting drivers for this 865. You'd think it would be pretty straightforward. You just go to Zingy or whoever you source the network card from to get the drivers, but nope, can't do that. In fact, the only drivers I can find are from MSI. And you can see here the path if you actually want it. It's not very hard to type out. And we'll put the drivers for this NIC on our website, urtech.ca, along with this video and some instructions. So if you're watching the video going, man, I need those drivers, we've got them. Just surf over here and search for M865, and I'm sure you'll find it. You need to download both the Bluetooth drivers and the Wi-Fi drivers. Now I've already done that. Let's make this a little faster. Just right click on the network card and select Update Driver. And you would think that you could simply browse for the folder and be on your way. Wrong. Doesn't work. And that's because of a naming mismatch. Very minor, but there's a simple way around it. Click Browse Computer for Drivers. Let me pick what type of device you're trying to find. In our case, it's a network adapter, have disk. Point to the folder that you downloaded, which I've already done. And boom, Qualcomm FastConnect 7800 HBS multi-link 2x2. That's simply the number of antennas, by the way. Wi-Fi 7 adapter. Boom. That's it. Oh, this might not be an exact match. Yeah, it's the right one, I'm pretty sure. Let's see what happens. That's good. Let's click on that. Yay. Now you might ask, how did I connect to the internet if I didn't have my network card going? Well, let me just show you. Right here, you can see I've got a Wi-Fi 7 USB NIC, which I'm just going to pull out right here. And that's how I did it. Now, you could download the drivers in advance, probably the smarter thing to do. You remember that I said that you're also going to need to download the Bluetooth driver. And that apparently is not accurate in this case because Bluetooth isn't showing up here, even after getting this new Qualcomm card NIC to work. That's very frustrating. So off camera, I've done a pile of stuff. I've gone into the BIOS to make sure all of the USB ports are enabled, especially the internal ones. And that's because the Bluetooth card is actually connected on that M.2 header, but it's connected as a USB device. So that needs to be enabled. Everything there needs to be enabled. I've gone through and I've removed all of the ghosted devices by clicking view and show hidden devices and clearing out all of the dead junk. I had some old Bluetooth stuff here. I went through and I checked all the USB devices to make sure there's nothing wonky here. And it turns out, after a bit more research, that HP in particular often disables non-HP specified Bluetooth devices. Well, that's annoying. What they do is on power up, they send a signal to pin 51 of that little card we added, the M.2 Qualcomm Wi-Fi card. And that says, hey, turn the Bluetooth off. We don't recognize this. Now, why they do that? I don't know, but they do. It's a known issue. And the solution to it, well, there's two solutions. One, take a little bit of Kapton tape, just a sliver of it, and put it over top of pin 51 before you insert it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's just not worth my time to disassemble everything again. The second thing is just buy an external Bluetooth dongle. That's a pain in the butt as well. In my case, this is on a all-in-one computer, and I don't use Bluetooth for it. It's not a laptop where I might use Bluetooth. So this is a minor annoyance that I'm just going to get over. Okay, let's go check the speeds on this new Wi-Fi card. Then we just have to connect to the available Wi-Fi. And you think, well, it's Wi-Fi 6 versus Wi-Fi 7. Yes, my access point from Comcast, Rogers, is only a 6E. It's not a Wi-Fi 7. So that's why I only have a Wi-Fi 6 specified down here. Now, if I go and do a speed test, so I'll drill off to speedtest.shaw.ca because that's my ISP. All right, that's the speeds I'm looking for. It's actually over what I'm rated at because I only have a 1 gig connection. So hey, if you found the video useful, big thumbs up would be super appreciated. Subscribe's also appreciated. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always get a hold of us directly at www.urtech.ca, or you can leave a question or a comment below. And if we don't get back to you, somebody else will, because you know, on YouTube, yeah, everybody's got an opinion. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.